And we're live.
Welcome, guys, to SW6 Live and our preview, not review, preview of our forthcoming game, the London Derby at Stamford Bridge tomorrow at 1:30. It's Chelsea versus Arsenal. Say you've got a panel tonight, which is half Chelsea, half Arsenal, and to my left, probably to your right, guys, is Mo. How you doing, mate?
Thank you very much, Tony. Let's get this going. Arsenal-Chelsea, what a rivalry. My goodness, I feel like we've played each other too much lately.
Well, they're becoming a bit like Liverpool, aren't they, mate? You know, where we were always playing Liverpool all the time, as you well remember, over and over again. It does feel that way, doesn't it, to be fair?
It does. Community Shield, FA Cup, and now Premier League. And it's time for
overseas games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Overseas in the pre-season. Oh, God. Yeah, we have actually played them quite a lot.
We have indeed, mate. We have indeed. Well, also on the panel tonight is, he's been on the channel many times before, is the ever-impressive Kenny Monologues, and from Arsenal Fans TV, and Sports Night, I might add, is Kenny K. Welcome, Kenny.
Hello, Lee. Sorry, hello. I was calling you Lee. Hello, Tony. Yes, it's Chelsea away is one of my favourite away games. We never win, it's the anticipation really for me. It's because I always go to the same place, Fulham Broadway, go to the Peri Peri chicken place, walk through cameras, people singing in my shirt, meet a few friends at the away end, both Chelsea and Arsenal fans, and then go to the ground, and then we kick off, and nothing happens. You get the first goal, and it's game over, really, at times.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Away as well.
Well, we'll talk about that actually a little bit later, Kenny. But also on the panel tonight is the explosive, I might add, the man that splits the Arsenal supporters half, 50% each. You either love him or hate him. In fact, I might even call him Marmite. That's the best way to describe this man. Of course, he's got a very successful channel now called Gunnerbang. If you are a Gunner out there, check it out. And if you're a Chelsea fan, check it out, because I swear to God, it's the most animated channel I think out there. It really is. I've got to tell you, mate. Is Mr. Lee Gunner. Welcome back to Chelsea SW6, mate.
Cheers, Tone. Evening, lads. Cheers for that little plug there, Tone. I must say as well that I'd imagine that half of my subscribers are not actually Arsenal fans, which is why I'm getting so much love on my channel. A lot of them are Chelsea, Liverpool, United, even Spurs. So yeah, and I've got a few lower league teams, Norwich, Wolves, and yeah, it's good, man. It's going well, and yeah, let's get on to the game tomorrow, because this is make or break for us.
Well, I've got a little prediction for you, Lee. I actually think you'll be massive, mate. Massive in 2 years. I actually said that to Kenny earlier on today, didn't I, Ken?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I second that. I think what it is, Lee, is that you've got very strong views. What's happened is that when you have strong views, you've got to back them up with. That's what you do very well, Lee. So, like I said, it's no surprise.
Appreciate that, lads. I'll bung you a check in the post.
No, not at all. I watch
it absolutely, mate.
Watch it avidly. I know I do anyway. I do like what you and DT do in terms of your personal channels a lot, and you're very you articulate your reasons very well, and you back it up. You want really. You can't just rant
without substance. Without substance and having something to, See, the thing is, lads, right? I don't want to sit there ranting week in, week out. And to be fair, I've chilled a little bit this season. But at the end of the day, I love saying end of the day. I get told that in my comment section all the time, so I'm going to keep saying it. Right? At the end of the day,
enjoy
hashtag end of the day.
Completely.
Yeah, maybe I should copyright that or something, but. At the end of the day, I'll just say what I think, and if people agree with it, it's a bonus. If they don't, I couldn't really care, really. Just say what I think, and if people are on board and agree with what I say, then fantastic. But yeah, I'm just saying what I see, really. So yeah, nice one.
You're a very articulate bloke, Lee. And the one thing I will say about you, mate, you come from the same background as me, sales and marketing. So therefore, you're gonna be able to converse with people. So right, as you can see, we're all quite jovial. No problem, mate. We're all quite jovial because Spurs have just dropped 2 points.
Hey!
So we're absolutely buzzing over that. So well done, Burnley. So maybe our first game weren't so bad after all. You know, but
they're playing Swansea that time.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Well, that's right. That's right. Of course they were. Who's playing Burnley today?
Liverpool. They drop points as well.
Fault that is. You know whose fault that is, right? Right. While we were waiting to come on air, Mo was keeping me up to date, and he mentioned the word Burnley, so I'm going to blame him for that. Do you know what I mean? I don't care who they play anyway. Who cares? What can you say? Right, guys. For those of you watching out there, thank you ever so much. This is actually the first of a double header, and I say that because this is actually going to be a mini stream for us, because normally our bloody streams go on for 2.5, 3 hours, especially we get the man with the arm, Claude, that comes on, because I think our last one, guys, was a record, 3 hours, 33 minutes. Did you know that?
Me.
Yeah, that was transfer night. So, you know, incredible stuff. But so it's like a mini stream tonight. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, 3 of us, unfortunately for Lee's not on it, but 3 of us jump over onto the Arsenal channel, the Gooner Talk. So check that out, guys. 9 o'clock after this stream.
Yeah, I'll have to have words with Tom about that. Well, my invite must have got lost in the post.
Well, actually, I feel half bad actually for Tom because technically he should be on this one. So it's an invite, Tom. You're more than welcome, mate, to come on a review that we'll be doing, and we're doing another stream on Monday night. There'll be a review. So Tom, you're more than welcome to come on and jump on this one, mate. And also, I noticed that Claude kind of felt a bit pushed out. It's not that, mate. It's just that we're on a very, very fixed time, and you know I love you. And all it is, mate, it's just we had to keep it 2 and 2. But you're more than welcome also, and indeed Afsel is too, to come on the stream on Monday night as well.
We need to find more Chelsea fans, mate. We need to find more Chelsea fans. There's going to be way too many of them.
Sorry, they're all supporting Man City at the minute. I'm only playing.
Well, we're not spotted. Wait, Lee, we haven't even started yet, mate.
I'm only playing.
Bit of a low one.
That's right.
Bit of a low one. And I'll tell you what it almost feels like, guys. I'll tell you what it almost feels like when we do a stream. There's about 5 or 6 of you on. It feels like we felt the other night with the Germans.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy.
I'm just putting it out there, boys. I'm just putting it out there. Actually, quick word on that one, because you guys were both there. Lee, I'll start with you. Crazy night, but the German fans are just totally different gravy, aren't they, mate?
Oh, mate, that was the loudest I think the Emirates has ever been.
They were bouncing. Mate, how many of them were there, Lee?
I'd hazard a guess. Obviously, I don't know exact figures, but daytime there was talks of 20,000 of them have come over.
Amazing.
I'd say that there was at least 15,000 of them in the ground.
Wow.
So, and I'll be honest with you, there was no drama with them. I know they had a little kick-off outside the ground and they were all trying to storm in, and you know, and there was the guy on the megaphone who was orchestrating it all, was sort of telling them all step back, stop fighting, like trying to fight your way in. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, there was 3 behind me. There was 3 sat behind me. Yeah, and I thought I could spot them a mile off. As soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah, and so I just said to them, I said, look, no dramas tonight, lads, yeah? And they were like, no, we're just here for the atmosphere. And they were filming when Sanchez scored that perler in the top corner. We went mad, yeah, because that put us in the lead, and it was a screamer. And they were all filming our celebrations and all that. And even after the game, they got held back for a little while. And then once I was walking out round the side of the stadium where they come out, they all got let out. I thought, typical, innit? You know, this is payback for harassing people before, and mugging other fans off. I'm going to get weighed in here. But they were sweet. They were absolutely good as gold. And the atmosphere that is how I see football. That is how I see football fans, yeah? And I know we had a conversation yesterday, Tone, about Schalke. Yeah, we were talking about how the Schalke fans, they do the 3 mile walk from the ground and all that.
It's called the Schalke Walk, Lee, and they all meet up at a central point, and they just walk to the stadium, and it's the most and it is all choreographed, and you are right. You've got the guys with the megaphones at the front, and they all bounce at the same time. Really, just amazing. Do you know what I mean?
The thing I'll say on that, right, is we were in North Bank, so we were looking at clock end, right? They had the whole of their away end, like their away bit, and then they had the whole of the clock end lower, where they'd just taken over the whole bottom and lower tier, and then they had 3/4 of the upper tier. So when they're doing that Poznan, mate, it just looked unbelievable watching it from the other end. It was just like, wow, like, why can't we do that? Like, why can't we have some? I know health and safety's gone mad in this country, but it just looked unbelievable. And like I say, I loved every second of it. Before kick-off, obviously they nudged it back an hour. I don't know what Kenny thinks about this, but I thought like from maybe about 20 minutes before 9 for the 25 minutes up till kick-off, everyone, Arsenal end and Arsenal fans were a little bit on edge because they didn't know the atmosphere was a little bit different, wasn't it, Kenny? And like, everyone was like not sure whether it was going to kick off or what to expect. But when it did, when the first whistle went, I've never heard Arsenal fans that loud because they were like, "Nah, you're in our ground. We're going to shut you up now," and it raised our game a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So it was good.
But the question is, Lee, right? The question is, how did they get so many tickets inside the Emirates? How did they do it, mate?
And how come some of them even bought like the Arsenal shirts and stuff? Or what I hear.
Well, I'll tell you what they. I'll tell you what they did. Right, they're very clever, and it was very, very well planned. Yeah, there was a guy in club level at the North Bank, and he had a walkie-talkie in his hand throughout the whole game. Every time I looked up behind me, yeah, he was on the walkie-talkie. So he's telling people, look, there's extra seats down this end. Make your way round to this end, and more were turning up like in the second half. Yeah, so yeah, they were. It was so well planned, and fair play to them. I know a lot of people have said like, oh, they were smashing it up outside and all that. It was only a minority, a tiny minority, and the guy, like I said, with a megaphone was telling them all to get away and get back. But once they were in the ground, yeah, not one bit of trouble I see. And the way they got in the ground, what they've done. Right, I've heard a lot of stories about this. I've done a lot of research on it since, right? They were all signing up for red memberships, right, weeks ago, as soon as that got announced that we were playing them and that was the opening game, right? Bear in mind, this is their cup final, yeah? I retweeted a thread yesterday on Twitter of a guy, I think he worked for BT Sport, and he was German. No, sorry, yeah, I don't think he was German, but he lived in Cologne, and he said that they've had 5 relegations in the last 20 years. Right, and the most recent relegation was 5 years ago. So if you think this team is like what, maybe double, maybe a fifth of the size, sorry, half of the size extra, so 50% extra, the size of maybe MK Dons. Yeah, that's the level we're talking about here. Yeah, in terms of size of club, maybe that's a bit of a maybe I've mugged them off a little bit there. Maybe they are a bit bigger, but what they've looked at is, well, hang on, 5 years ago we were relegated. Now we're playing Arsenal, and we are a big draw. Yeah, we're a massive football club, as you know, right? And, you know, they've looked at it and thought, well, we ain't been in Europe 25 years, and we've pulled the plum draw. Yeah, we've got to go. So what they were doing is they were signing up for red memberships weeks ago. Yeah, obviously Arsenal are stupid and ain't clocked it, and they're sending all these red memberships out to Germany. Right? Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this though, right? Because you two, yeah, you're both Chelsea. You could go on Arsenal.com and sign up for one now, yeah, and then go on Ticket Exchange, which is what they were doing. Yeah, going on Ticket Exchange. Obviously, it's a Thursday night. It's Europa League. EastEnders is on. It's cold. It's windy. It was raining. Yeah, people have thought, sod that, I ain't going to that, it's crap, it's Europa League. Yeah, so there was loads of tickets. So they've gone on Ticket Exchange and got tickets. I heard a guy on TalkSport when I was driving home say that at 10 o'clock in the morning, there was 500 of them outside the Emirates at 10 a.m., yeah, looking for tickets. And he was working in the local area, this guy. He said he was working there the whole day. I can't remember what he'd done, but he was working there all day. He was there till 6. Yeah, and he said, and then ticket touts were turning up. Yeah, obviously they'd got wind of it and they're flogging 17, 15 pound, 20 pound tickets for 300, 400, 500 quid. The guys behind us paid £500 each. Yeah, 500 quid each. Yeah, for a 17 pound ticket. Yeah, 20 pound ticket, right? So, but what they were also doing, they eventually cottoned onto this at the Armoury. yeah, they closed the club shop because so many of them were going in, right, buying an Arsenal shirt, right, and putting an Arsenal shirt on. They were changing the wallpapers on their phones to Arsenal. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, like I say, the way
that is real commitment right there.
Yeah, the way they done it was fantastic. But like when I walk, like when I went and took my seat, yeah, their colours are similar to ours. They're red, white, and black, aren't they? Their colours. Yeah. Well, we're red and white. So they've all bought these red and white scarves. And I'm thinking, well, is this a Cologne fan or is this an Arsenal fan? Like, you didn't really know, yeah? But it was so... and the way they got so many in, yeah, I mean, I was there right from before they started piling in, yeah? And they apparently all went to the disabled entrance, which is a lot bigger than the turnstiles. I mean, I don't know how Kenny gets through a turnstile, because of the size of his chest. Look at him, he's a beast. Yeah, he's huge. But I struggle, and I'm 10 stone dripping wet. I have to walk in sideways. Right, so they cottoned onto that and went to the bigger entrance. As soon as that entrance was open, they were all flying in. Yeah, and obviously 1 or 2 or 3 stewards ain't going to stop all them people getting in.
No,
then when they got in, they were obviously in their away section, but then they were hopping seats and hopping sections, and then just sprinting around the circle, like around the stadium, just sitting wherever they wanted, right? But I didn't know this, and I know I'm waffling on. I'll shut up in a minute, right? But I didn't know this, right? In Germany, it is common that they all go and integrate with other fans, so they just go and sit with other fans. So if they're playing Dortmund at the weekend, they'll be in with Dortmund fans. They didn't realise that in England, that ain't the case. Yeah? So they're sitting down, chilling, like just taking any seat they want. Right? Yeah? They didn't really know that in England, it don't work like that. And then you've got all the prawn sandwich brigade at the Emirates. Like, they didn't have a clue, man. Seriously. The amount of stunned faces I see, yeah, where people are just like, oh my God, what is going on here? Yeah, and I'm just standing there like while it's all happening and the stadium's filling up. Right, and I'm like, this is hilarious. But then when you look at it on the flip side, if they had gone 2 or 3-0 up, that could have really kicked off. Yeah, that could have really gone bad. But luckily, it was just all light-hearted. And as soon as Sanchez scored, they pretty much shut up, really. But yeah, I must say that was, along with Galatasaray, when their fans came, they were equally as loud, if not louder, on Thursday. They were fantastic, mate. They were a joy to have there, to be honest with you. And there was no fights. I never see a single fight.
Me neither. I think that's the thing, mate. I think what's happened is that I was in a pub and I got an app on my phone, a mirror app, which says the game's been delayed by 1 hour. So I stayed in the pub with Claude and a few others, and we were getting updates you had the guy from Sky TV, was Ian Craig sensationalising it all, and then you had BT Sport. And the woman in the ground, I think her name's Chowdhury for BT Sport, she was smiling and laughing. She didn't look perturbed or not. Great fun. Arsene Wenger wanted the game to be called off. He wanted the game to be played behind closed doors at midday the next day. Obviously because of the Chelsea game. But what I think could have happened as well, obviously a lot of them had tickets. I genuinely believe that the Met said, right, some of these guys ain't got a ticket. We've told the pubs not to let anyone in and close after 9 o'clock. They're going to go out and they're going to be amongst them sort of the Islingtonians. I think, you know what we're going to have to do is have to just let them all in.
Yeah.
That's what's happened is that because there was a gridlock, because they locked the stadium, for their own safety and for the safety of people outside, they said, right, get in, find somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised that in some parts of the clock end, it's to someone where there's seats. So what was happening? Because most of them was
the game. But was the game sold out prior then, Kenny, or was there tickets still available?
On .com it said sold out. I looked at it when I was driving down because we were stuck in traffic, and I was just like, I'll have a little nose, and it said officially it was sold out. But
yeah, exactly. So it was. I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah,
fans near me, and when they scored, Cordoba scored, there was some Arsenal fans who took the section of celebrating, tried to attack one of the guys and threw a punch that missed by a mile. And one of the stewards went down to one of the guys and broke up. And then I think what the stewards calculated said, right, there's more of them than us. Leave them in there and calm down the Arsenal fans and just sit in between them. I think what was happening is that they weren't letting anyone out of the ground until after half time. So there's a lot of Arsenal fans, because of trains, who went home.
Yeah.
Half time.
Yeah, because of the trains and that, I suppose. Because you can't. Yeah.
Well, that was supposed to be the original. That was supposed to be full time, wasn't it? The half-time whistle, wasn't it? It was supposed to be full time.
Half-time was full time. Yeah.
What I would say is that Arsenal Football Club handled this very badly. So I don't want to criticise them, but I think what's happened is that you should have given more tickets, and you should have anticipated the arrival of fans. What you should have done is that you should have had a fan park and said, right, we can't get you all in, but we're going to make sure that we accommodate you. There is enough room around the Emirates Stadium, especially in that area of Islington, to say, right, here you go. This is for you. Big screen, blah, blah. You could have done that. You've known about it since...
Well, they could have even done that at Wembley, for example. They could have said, look, we'll put it on at Wembley for you. Yeah? So then there'd be 15,000, like give them an extra allocation of, give them up to 7,000 or whatever. And then the other 13,000 could have made their way to Wembley, which would have been a big thing for them anyway, because then they're at Wembley. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and there was definitely ways around it, but it was wicked though, wasn't it, man?
One more thing. I actually found out, I talked to somebody Monday, that some of them were actually at Wembley the day before watching Dortmund play Spurs. And some of them were actually at the bridge as well, watching you guys play.
Oh, wow.
They made a week.
They do that, though. They do that, though, Kenny. I mean, you always get that, I remember actually coming back from a European game. Funny enough, I think it was Schalke. And the next morning, obviously, we come in there about 10 o'clock in the morning. And there was Dortmund were playing at your place. I'm sure it was Dortmund. And they all come down to go and do the Stamford Bridge tour. They said, what are you doing here? We'll go on later. We're just checking your stadium out, But there you go. Right, let's talk about the game then, guys. Let's get on with the old job in hand. How are we all feeling about it? I'll start off with Mo. Been confident for tomorrow's game?
You know what? And I do feel quite confident about the game. I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that I felt like Arsenal played a little bit of a stronger team than I anticipated in that Europa League game. And how much that will have an effect on them is yet to be seen. But I do feel like this is a game where I feel like we're favourites based on just how the season has gone so far. And also just the fact that they've had to play on Thursday, I feel like that's something that's going to obviously affect them in some way, shape or form. And I think what was at least in their favour in this game was the fact that they played at home. Had they been playing away to Germany, I think that would have been a bit more of a cutthroat situation. I think then I would have definitely been far more confident even. But I do feel like we're still favourites. I do feel like, and there are certain players that I would look out for. But if Arsenal do play with that three in the back, that three centre-backs, I don't think they're coordinated enough. And I think will cause them far more problems than they could imagine. And I can see Morata definitely getting not just one goal, but more than one actually in this game. And just because of he's an aerial threat, and I feel like that's something that they seem to be quite a bit struggling with. But also the runs in behind from Hazard, from William, from Pedro. Those are things that I feel like that would cause Arsenal quite a bit of problems. And I feel like this is a game where I can see us definitely getting goals. But at the same time, it's a game where I can see Arsenal getting goals as well. Just based on Sanchez and Lacazette, I think Lacazette has shown quite a bit about himself. And just the way they've started the season, although it's not been ideal, I think Lacazette standing out the way he has already shows how quickly he's adapting to what Arsenal need of him. And I think that's the quality of play they have spent very well on. But at the same time, this is a team that needed strengthening in far more departments than just one position. And I feel like for that reason, it should be on us to actually get this victory. And we are at home, and their record against us in Stamford Bridge is not looking too good. Let's be honest. So, yeah, I do feel very positive and very optimistic about the game. And I feel like us resting our players is also another aspect that makes me very confident as well. And us winning 6-0 and still being able to rest most of our key players was another key factor. And I feel like we'll be fresh and up for that match. And we've been talking about it since last week. So I can't wait to see what really happens.
I want to try and bring some of the questions into questions because we are fixed for time, aren't we? As we all know, we want to go off air around about sort of 8:30, to be fair, so we can prep obviously for the Gunner talk. Say 8:35, something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll stick with you, Mo. Yeah, because the question after this was, how do you think we're going to line up, mate? Okay. How do you think Chelsea? If we'll stick to Chelsea. You stick to Arsenal, boys.
Yeah.
How do you think Chelsea are likely to line up tomorrow, mate?
And I think the three central midfield is something that I see us using. So I can see Bakayoko, Fabregas, and N'Golo Kante all playing in this match, simply because I think it's a safe option to be able to control the game and actually be able to also dominate physically. And the best way to do that, I think, is with those three playing for us. And what I'm really wondering about more than anything, I think at the back is whether Gary Cahill does come back into it or not. I honestly feel like we should stick with the three that have been doing a great job so far. Azpilicueta, David Luiz, as well as Rudiger have not put much wrong, in my opinion. And I have been a little bit critical about Azpilicueta, but I do feel like every time I've tried to be quite critical, he's either assisted or scored. And I need to shut my mouth at this one with that case. And Alonso and Victor Moses, I think, are quite straightforward picks just based on how good they have been. And could I see Zappacosta getting a match? I think it's a little bit too soon to be throwing him in these types of matches, but I do see him probably getting some minutes at some stage of the game. And Courtois obviously in goal. Morata definitely starting. And the question is, will it be Willian? Will it be Pedro? Will it be Hazard? And I get this feeling that we're more than likely going to go with Willian and Morata and put Hazard in at some point, which I think when you look at our substitution bench then, there's so many game-changing plays that we can put on at any point to actually change formation, change the tempo of the game, and put in players that can definitely cause a lot of problems. So I don't know. I would love to see Hazard start in this match, and I'd love to see us playing the formation that we've been used to more of last season. But something tells me we're going to be quite pragmatic about this situation, and we're going to play with three in the midfield, which means only one person can partner up, and Alvaro Morata. And because of where Hazard's fitness is at currently, I get the feeling we're not going to more than likely start with him.
It's funny, as you know, I always tend to go with the Guardian, Mo, and I always tend to go with what they're feeling on things. And I do a lot of preparation via the Guardian, to be fair.
Yeah.
And they seem to think that obviously we'll stick with the back three, Courtois in goal, obviously, Azpilicueta, David Luiz, and they believe that Gary Cahill will come straight back in. So Rudiger will make way. Again, I totally and utterly agree with you. Go with Rudiger. And Cahill should make way. But they seem to think Cahill's going to play. And then obviously central holding mid. You mentioned Cesc Fabregas. Well, Kante, obviously we all know he's going to play. But they're going with Bakayoko. And if you look at the way we set up midweek, Cesc played the majority of that game, if not all that game. And then Bakayoko came on in a cameo role. So you have to look at the way Antonio Conte's gone about that. So they go with Bakayoko. But they also go, so obviously no Cesc Fabregas, so Fabregas will be on the bench.
Interesting.
They also go with Zappacosta to come in from Victor Moses.
Wow.
So there'll be no Victor Moses playing. But they go with Marcus Alonso.
Yeah.
And they go with Willian instead of Hazard. Hazard to be on the bench, play. And Alvaro Morata up front, which gives us, like you say, an extremely strong bench going on the basis of the Guardian saying Cesc Fabregas, obviously Caballero, Rudiger, Victor Moses, Michy Batshuayi, and Eden Hazard. So there's so many permutations. As I said, I've always felt that everyone was a bit overcritical about our transfer window because it gave us many and plenty of options. But I personally, my personal feelings, I'd go with the back three of Azpilicueta, Luiz, and Rudiger. I'd go with Kante and Bakayoko because I think it's strong, really strong.
Yeah.
Zappacosta, Moses, it's either or. I mean, Zappacosta, wonderful performance in midweek, as we all know. I'd go with obviously Marcus Alonso. He picks himself. Now, this is the conundrum, isn't it? It's Willian or Hazard. Now, Willian, obviously, as we all know, played the game. Hazard came on towards the end. Has he got enough fitness in him for the 90s? I don't know. So it might be a fact that he might be a 65, 70-minute, one of them ones. Yeah. Obviously, Morata up front for Michy. And Pedro, I think he's earned his stripes for sure. So that would be my lineup. Very interesting also, you say about Arsenal and them playing three at the back. If you remember, system. I mean, Arsenal were in a bit of trouble, and then they changed to three at the back, and they're starting to get a few results. And if you look at their recent record against us, you're absolutely right. Of course, the big games that they're playing is appalling, isn't it? The way their record, and of course their record at Stamford Bridge is appalling too. I think their last victory was I think we had Andre Villas-Boas, wasn't it?
Van Persie scored a hat-trick. So that's how long ago.
He remembers. He's
Absolutely. So it was an AV Bisic, and if you look at the, you talk about them playing three at the back. It's interesting that since Wenger changed to that system, results against us, namely the cup final, and all right, I know Arsenal claim a victory in the Community Shield, but all intents and purposes, it was a draw, wasn't it? And it could have gone either way through the pens. So, but the cup final, they were very, very good. Arsenal, you know, I won't take that away from them, but I see them as a different prospect when they do play that three against us. So, depends how you look at it. I'm very confident, mate. I really am.
I think it's not, when I look at that three at the back, it's not that they're playing three at the back. It's not three central defenders, sorry. And I think that's part of the problem they've got. You've got Nacho Monreal, who I don't think is a centre back. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans feel exactly the same about it. You then have Rob Holding, who obviously is, from what I can tell, shows good potential, but doesn't have anyone around him to try and actually protect him in moments when that lack of experience starts to show. And then you've got players playing out of position. I think then you also have players in front of them in midfield who aren't really able to read situations as good as they should be because they're so quite attacking minded that they forget their defensive part of the game. And I think that's where Arsenal tends to struggle. And a lot of Arsenal games, which I do tend to watch quite a lot, mainly because I want to see them lose, but that's besides the point. But it's one of the things I do, and I love football for this reason, is I love analyzing tactics and seeing how each team plays certain players and how these players then affect in terms of their tendencies of what they do. Some players are great in terms of discipline. I think Arsenal, this is the biggest thing I notice, is when they lack discipline in terms of defensive side of the game. I think that's why we've all been saying the same thing. They need an Nemanja Matic. They need someone who's very defensive-minded and can protect that back. And a lot of the times, Arsenal seems to be caught in a dangerous situation, whether they're playing a bigger team, whether they're playing a smaller team. It tends to happen with errors or players lacking discipline or lacking experience. And I think that's the scary part for Arsenal. And if they address those issues, it'd be great. One of the things we've been speaking about for a long time is Arsenal don't have a left back. They've always had Hector Bellerin in terms of right back, but they weren't solving their left back issue. And this year, they've got Kolasinac on for free. And I think this is a fantastic bargain. I'll be very honest about it right now, that the guy is a fantastic bargain. To sign him for free, to know the stats he had in the German league, and for him to already be settling so quickly, it baffles me when I see Wenger put him on the bench, because that's a guy that should be starting every game. So it depends on what Arsenal goes with in this match. But I do generally believe that when you look at the squad, I think the depth in our squad and then the discipline in our squad and then what our manager does is what I feel like puts us first here. And I can see us definitely getting a win. But it'll be interesting either way to see how these Arsenal players respond to the tie, because I think that is going to be very important to any Arsenal fan. I think even if you're on the losing side, but you guys show a lot of fight, a lot of passion, a lot of determination, I think it's not something where Arsenal fans are going to just completely dismiss that. They're going to be like, you know what, for the first time, you guys have given us hope. You guys have shown this aspect. Now can I see this same hunger and determination for other games, specifically against smaller clubs? Because I think that's where you can't afford to slip up this year. When you have Man City winning 6-0 and 5-0 the week prior, this is the type of season where I think you need to be not only winning those games, you need to be scoring a lot of goals. And the question is, can Arsenal do that? And can they do it on a consistent basis? I do feel like this is going to be an interesting game regardless for any neutral, because it's going to be a game that kind of determines how far Chelsea have come in terms of that first game against Burnley and then in that Community Shield as well. But also it will determine whether Arsenal have any chance of being able to break into that top four, because at the moment, they're all being dismissed. You're all being dismissed. And I think some of your own fans are even saying we don't deserve to be on the top four based on what we've done so far in that transfer window and how we've really played. So it'll be interesting either way, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, mate. Lee, how are you feeling about the game, buddy, and your expected lineup for Arsenal, mate?
Well, if we lose by the odd goal, it's improvement. That's what I'm looking at.
Really?
If we lose 2-1, And like Mo just said, if we put a shift in, like, listen, at the end of the day, as Arsenal fans, there's Wenger in, there's Wenger out, shake it all about, right? But all I want to see as an Arsenal fan, especially in these big games, is that all 11 of them players are giving everything and left blood, sweat and tears on the pitch. If we lose, and they've done that, fair play. Not one Arsenal fan will sit there and mug them off, right? But it's when we go up to Anfield and get spanked 4-0 and none of them look like they care. Yeah, it's when we go and lose 6-0 at the Bridge. None of them look like they care. Yeah, and the last time we beat a big team was years ago. I think the last time we actually got a positive result away from home against the top 6 was
City,
2 years, 9 months ago.
City.
Yeah, 2 years, 9 or 10 months ago. Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. Ironically, that day Mesut Ozil didn't play. Because he didn't. He was injured and he didn't play. And Santi Cazorla and Alexis Sanchez were fantastic that day. But in terms of team selection, Mo nailed it a minute ago with what he just said. He said that Arsenal play players out of position. They also don't have centre-backs playing at centre-back. Similar sort of thing, right? Now, my 1 to 11, I'll quickly run through what I'd start as my 1 to 11, and then I'll give you what I think Arsene Wenger's going to do. Right, my 1 to 11 is checking goal. That's standard because Ospina is pony. Nobody can tell me otherwise. He's shit. He shouldn't even be here.
He proved it, to be fair.
he should not be at our club. Chesney should be number 1. Czech should have been number 2. That's my opinion.
He was brilliant in the cup final.
Well, yeah, but it's all well and good being brilliant for one game. Like, you know, I just don't rate him. Right? Go on, Kenny. Go on.
No, what I was trying to say is that, yeah, he was brilliant, but I do think he was at fault for Costa's goal. I think he could have got stronger.
Exactly. He could have wiped him out. Left wing back, Kolasinac. What more do we need to say about this guy? Absolute bargain, like Mo just said. Which makes it even more baffling why he didn't start at Anfield the other week.
Yeah.
Then the 3 centre backs, I'll go with Bellerin at right back only because right wing back only because Debuchy is toilet. He's posing as a footballer and raping 75 grand a week out of the club. You know, I'm not being funny. All 4 of us in here could do better. So yeah, Bellerin right back, right wing back, Kolasinac. The 3 at the back, right? And I would go 3 at the back against Chelsea. The reason being is, like you guys said, when we've played a 3 at the back against you, we've done very well, albeit they're one-off games. Yeah, they're one-off games. They're not, league games. It was the Shield, the Cup final as well. But the 3 at the back I'd go for, right? People are going to laugh at me when I say this, right? Mertesacker, yeah? Mustafi and Koscielny, right? And what I'd do to Mertesacker is I'd tell him, don't go further forward than Mustafi and Koscielny. You just sit behind them, and he's the best reader of the game we've got defensively.
So he plays as a sweeper then?
Exactly. So we've got a 3 at the back, but it's more of a 1-4, yeah, instead of a 5. Do you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, I see your point.
And then midfield, I'd go with Xhaka and El Neni. And then I'd have in front of them Mesut Ozil, who is on his last chance with me in a big game.
I'm surprised he's made your team, I'll be honest.
A lot of people are surprised, but he's on his last chance. And the reason I've put him in, right, is because a lot of people have been banging on about he needs a world-class striker, this, that, and the other, right? Well, that's bollocks because he had Ronaldo up front and had more assists at Arsenal in the same amount of games he played for Madrid, and he had Giroud. So we can dismiss that myth, right? The reason I've picked him is because at Anfield, he never had Lacazette up front, right? Now, I'm expecting Lacazette to be up front, right? So he's got a chance now. You've got the top striker, yeah? Now let's see what you can do. You've done jack shit in any away game against a big team for as long as I can remember, if anything, any at all. And people can quote an assist against this team when we lost 5-1, and they can quote a goal against Tottenham that was offside, yeah, and blah, blah, blah. He's done nothing in top big games against the top 4, right? So I'd go with Ozil and Sanchez in front of Xhaka and El Neni, and then I'd go with Lacazette. That's what I'd pick. Yeah, the reason I've picked that is because personally, Ramsey and Ozil both like to be the glory hunter that wants to get forward and don't want to do the donkey work, right? If you play with both of them, you totally isolate Granit Xhaka, hence why he's looked so shit this season. Yeah, Granit Xhaka's a very gifted footballer, but you've got to stick the right man next to him. Yeah, you can't be having the likes of Willian and Pedro running one-on-one at Granit Xhaka, because as soon as they've skipped round him, they're going straight at the back. Yeah, and we're fucked. You need to have somebody of El Neni's mould. I personally, I would have picked Coquelin, but he's injured. So that's why I've gone with El Neni. And El Neni can just mop everything up, play it simple, play it back to Mertesacker, play it back to Koscielny, play it to Ozil, whatever. But the team he's going to pick is going to be... he's going to go with Cech. I reckon he'll pick Kolasinac, he'll pick Bellerin, he'll go with Mustafi, he'll pick Rob Holding, and he'll pick Koscielny. Right, now Rob Holding had an absolute mare the other night, and he got taken off at half-time for Kolasinac. And just one thing very quickly before I list the rest of the players, right? You guys said that the back three worked really well last season at the back end. The only reason that worked really well at the back end last season was because 90% of the teams we played had nothing to play for. Yeah,
yes.
and we had top four to play for, so we had to be at the top level, and we had to give a shift because top four was at stake. The teams we played, Stoke, they had nothing to play for. Man United put all their eggs in the Europa League baskets and didn't give a toss about playing us. Yeah, Everton couldn't get any higher up the table. That's why we walked it in the last day of the season. Yeah, the only team that did have something to play for when we played that back three was Chelsea. But what had happened was Chelsea had already won the title 3 weeks earlier, gave all their top players all that time off where they'd all gone and had their party and relaxed and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then we're expecting to come straight back in the team and perform at the top level. You can't do that, especially when our first 11 had played week in, week out until the death. Yeah, hence why we dominated that final. Because... You know, I just look at it, and Mo said about Fabregas, Bakayoko and Kante. If you play that three in midfield, you'll win the game. Yeah, because he's going to go with that back three I've just named, Kolasinac, Bellerin and Cech. Then in midfield, he will pick Xhaka and Ramsey. 100%, he will pick that. Yeah, he will then pick, in front of that, Mesut Ozil and Danny Welbeck. So Sanchez won't play. Even though we're playing Doncaster on Wednesday, and then the following week on the Monday, we play West Brom. I think it is West Brom, isn't it? So he's going to have a full 8 days, which is why I'd play Sanchez. Yeah, because he ain't going to play against Doncaster. Yeah, he played 90 minutes the other night. Yeah, so I'd play Sanchez, but he won't. He'll play Welbeck, he'll play Ozil, and then he'll play Lacazette. We'll get totally overrun in midfield because we'll have Ozil and Ramsey, who love to bomb forward, love to do all the going and attacking, but don't want to track back. And then you've got the Kante that's in there around everyone, nipping at everyone's heels. Then you've got the powerhouse with Bakayoko. And as soon as they nick the ball, bang, straight to Fabregas. And Fabregas, in my opinion, is the best midfielder in the league. Attacking midfielder. He is by far the best midfielder in the league. And he will spring the attacks as soon as you nick the ball where we've gone too gung-ho. Now, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope we get a positive result. The only way I can see us get a positive result is if we play absolutely top of our game like we did in the cup final. You lot ain't on top of your game and we get lucky with decisions. Other than that, I can't see anything other than a Chelsea win.
Wow. Before I go to Kenny, just to let you know, Kenny, where the Guardian have gone, where they expected Arsenal line up, it's not far off, actually. It's, they go with Cech over Ospina. Monreal, Mustafi and Koscielny as your back three. Kolasinac, Bellerin on the opposite side. Xhaka and Ramsey. So you were right there, Lee. But they expect Alexis Sanchez to play with Lacazette up top, but Mesut Ozil playing too. No Danny Welbeck, which I've heard on your channel. Everyone's going, they should drop with... Sanchez, you know, but there you go. Kenny, what's your expectations for tomorrow, mate, and your lineup for the Gunners?
Well, first and foremost, one of the things that worries me about playing Chelsea is that, in terms of like when we don't have the ball, because you're going to play Alexis Sanchez, who doesn't look fit to me. You're going to play Xhaka. You're going to play Ramsey. You're going to play Ozil. That's 4 players. My biggest worry is at the breakdown. If you look at our second goal against Liverpool, there was a breakdown. Sanchez was on the left-hand side. He was trying to cut in. He loses the ball. Liverpool run past us. Then you got Jack Ozil not picking up a runner. Forward, missing out on a runner. And Xhaka not missing a runner. So they try it back four. That's my biggest conundrum that worries me, is you've got these four attacking players. And I think where it is with Chelsea is to break down the play. What Chelsea have in midfield, which I like very much, is that you're not just wreckers, you run as well. So what's happened is that you'll wreck our play, but Kante will not just settle for just giving it to another player. He'll give it to another player and he'll run. He'll run and join the attack. Fabianco uses power to run. And in fact, so what will happen is that Fabregas will have more players to go to. People assume that he's just going to have Morata and probably have Willian. They're going to make inroads into a straight out back four. That's one of our biggest conundrums. It's the midfield battle against Chelsea. It's like final. It was a one-off game. The onus was on us to attack you and catch you on the hop, which we did very well, because what's happened is that we'll manage to dominate possession. And we were playing well, as Lee says. We were in very good form, albeit against teams that Lee believes as well that had nothing to play for. But we're at it. We're scoring goals. Certain players like Sanchez was playing out of his skin. Welbeck was looking strong towards the end. And, Mesut Ozil was, found a little bit of form. So we're in good form. But it's a different Arsenal you're playing at. You're playing an Arsenal that is, in my opinion, still worried about it, worrying away from home. And that's why I think that I share Lee's concerns slightly to do with team selection. So I'll go for my team right now. My team will check in goal, Bellerin at right back. Bellerin at right back. Right wing back. Left wing back as well. Kolasinac has to play. Where I think Arsene Wenger's going to go is I think he's going to play Monreal. Because what's happened is in all the big games, Monreal is sort of his go-to man. So I think he's going to play Monreal, Koscielny and Mustafi. He plays Monreal because Monreal is actually a leader on the pitch. And he's never really let anyone down. He isn't a centre-back. But in terms of his reading of the game and trying to get performances out of place, Arsene Wenger trusts him implicitly. I can see where Arsene Wenger's come from. Concerned that we need a conventional centre half, and I do see the argument for Mertesacker, but I just can't see Arsene going that route. In terms of midfield, I can't see Arsenal. I don't think we could play Alexis Sanchez, Ramsey, and Ozil on that side against Chelsea. But that is just way too open for me. And I think if you play all four of those players, then what you're gonna sacrifice in playing them is that by not playing Danny Welbeck, he's not going to get at your back four. He's not going to stretch you with the pace and get in behind. Whilst Sanchez has that ability to get in behind you, but Sanchez will play a bit more deeper, which is very good. So he's going to look deep, playing Lacazette, which is all well and good. But my biggest worry is to break down a position when Sanchez loses the ball. When you've got Ramsey making those runs forwards, Ozil trying to make those runs, and they're out of position, they run it back four. So that's my biggest concern. But I think Arsene Wenger, because of Alexis Sanchez's star quality, because he's had played very well against Chelsea, Wembley, and albeit in the FA at the Emirates where we beat you 3-0, he would go for Sanchez's star quality. So it's highly likely that Danny Welbeck will miss out and he'll play Lacazette, and I think Ozil will play. But I do feel at our peril playing those four players in a team where I believe is way too open. And if I was to choose a team, I would leave one of those four out, if not two of them. I would actually play I'll play El Neni alongside Xhaka, sacrifice Ramsey, or if I don't sacrifice Ramsey, I'll ask him to play further up in the Ozil position and sacrifice Ozil, and that way I can accommodate
I always feel
Danny Welbeck.
I always feel, Kenny, you look slightly more dangerous when you do play Danny Welbeck against us. You know that.
Well, that's what I've been trying to say. Danny Welbeck has to play in that game because simply
he's your highest goal scorer. He's got, what's he got? 3 goals? Is it 3 goals he's got this
It's not a case. My thing's not about his goals. It's about the endeavour and industry that we're going to need against you. You know, chase things down when you're trying to play at the back. The pace over the top to actually get Cahill, Azpilicueta and Luiz on the retreat. I don't want Luiz coming out and playing out the back where he's got all that room to sort of find Fabregas or find Kenta. I don't want him to do that. I want someone on him.
Do you know the funny thing is, Kelly? Do you know the funny thing is, last season, right, David Luiz was our outball, yeah? He was all, and Mo will tell you this, everything went through David Luiz. It was essential.
That's exactly.
But this season, especially when they playing Rudiger as well, even Azpilicueta, isn't it, Mo? Yeah. They're all playing now. They're all playing that 3 now. It's not just Luiz, you know, they're all...
But Azpilicueta is the one that has the most touches in our defence. He's now become like a very key figure in regards to distribution when it comes from the back. And it's very good because obviously when you have 3 centre-backs, you want them all to be comfortable on the ball. But more importantly, you want them to be comfortable on the ball when there's pressure applied on them.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, guys, my biggest worry is the time you're going to get on the ball.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like, that's why I see the case for both Alexis Sanchez and like Danny Welbeck playing. But then again, if I was to play the team that I think would get us a point at Chelsea, I'm going to have to say the unthinkable. One of them's got to go. Either we leave that Lacazette again, or we need a goal power. But we play Danny Welbeck to sort of get him behind the back four.
Yeah.
Like I said, stop you from playing out in the back, stretch your defence. Alexis Sanchez
push up,
because I worry about playing to Sanchez. Then we've got Ozil, Ramsey, and Xhaka. I'm worried about where's Lacazette going to get the service if we're on the retreat.
Your approach. In
also, can I just say one thing? What I'm trying to say is that Lee will probably agree with me, not in terms of what I'm going to choose, but in what thing I think Lee will agree with me on is that just for this one game, surely we can consider making certain sacrifices in terms of selection and trying to see if we can just get a point, get it out of there.
See, that's the thing, Kenny, right? We've played two away games already this season. We've lost both of them, right? If we go to Stamford Bridge and try and play football and push up and nobody defends like we normally do, that's 3 out of 3 we've lost. We've then lost 3 out of 5 games already. Yeah, the way I see it, is we've got to sit back, not so much park the bus, but play smart. Yeah, and like you said, team lineup is key. One thing I just wanted to quickly say, because I know we're pressed on time. Did you think that on Thursday, when he brought Kolasinac on, that Alexis Sanchez looked so much better? Because he's got somebody who's actually qualified in that position and will cover him and will help him out when he loses the ball. As soon as Sanchez lost the ball on Thursday, Kolasinac was in there, bang, straight in that geezer's face. Yeah, and it helped Sanchez because that gave Sanchez time to get back in and help out. Yeah,
would he have that time? But would he have that time? One of my biggest concerns, would he have that time where you're going to have a Willian who's like a Jack Hill?
So in my opinion, if Sanchez is fit, he's got to start. If he's fit, he's got to start because he's a game.
Do you think he's fit?
I think that he's not 100% fit, but I think that if we played him for an hour on Sunday tomorrow, and then took, regardless of the result, winning, losing, drawing, just tell him straight, you're playing for an hour. That then gets him another hour under his belt with the 90 minutes the other night. Yeah, he obviously played for Chile the other week as well. That gets him to the next game. He's obviously not going to play against Doncaster, but that gets him to the West Brom game at the peak level. So I would start him, but like you say, you can't play Ozil, you can't play him, you can't play Ramsey. Yeah, and you know, all three and Xhaka as well. All four of them are prone to give the ball away a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much Ozil, because Ozil, his passing is pretty decent, but it's his defensive work that lets him down. And people will be sitting there going, but he's not a defensive player. Well, I'm sorry, but in this game, you've got to defend. Yeah, and you need all 11 men soon, and starting with Lacazette. I mean, there was instances the other week where against Brighton, the Lacazette was bombing past Ozil to go and nick the ball back, and it's like, come on, man! Like everyone, yeah, there was. Everybody needs to be on. Everybody needs to be on their game tomorrow. So, in my opinion, you sit deep. Yeah, you sit deep and go, do you know what? If we don't concede, we ain't losing. And you have that mentality, yeah. And then if you do nick a goal, yeah, then you can take a Sanchez off and bring a Monreal on, or take a Sanchez off and bring somebody else on, and just sit even deeper, yeah, and just go, well, there you go. There's a 5, then there's a 3 in front, and then break us down. Yeah, there's 8.
But Lee, the reason why you were so good, right? I'm just going to say the reason why you were so good in the cup final, right, is because you did press high.
Yeah, but that's a totally different ball game. That
that's
game,
a one-off game, then.
Yeah, that game's time, right? We already knew we'd finished 5th. We had to do something, because for us to finish 5th and not win nothing, yeah, there'd be a lot of unhappy fans. There's a lot now anyway, right? But had we not won that FA Cup, Wenger probably wouldn't have been here for this season.
And I'd have to agree with you as well, Lee and Kenny. Like,
yeah,
in that
FA
final,
Cup saved him.
Yeah, that FA Cup as well. Like, Chelsea honestly did not show up. Like, there was a few games where Chelsea showed up in that sort of mentality, and we lost those games because there was no fun.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, right? That game, you all your top players, you'd already won the title. Yeah. So your Hazards and your Costas and all that, they'd been rested for 3 games or 2 games. Yeah. So your energy levels drop. You're not sharp. And then you've gone out, you've celebrated the title, record wins and all that. Yeah. And then you've come back in, you're playing on the biggest pitch, yeah, and you're expected to turn up and go bang. Whereas we'd been on it until the last day, missed out on top 4. Yeah. So the only saviour we had was put in a shift for 90 minutes and beat Chelsea in the final. Yeah. So it's a totally different ball game tomorrow. We don't need to go and put a pressing, attacking game in against you, because we don't need to win the game. Yes, it would be nice to win the game.
Because a draw is also a good result.
Yeah, we can't afford to lose the game. We lose that game, big trouble. So if it was me, I wouldn't park the bus, but I'd play smart. And like Kenny said, team selection is everything tomorrow. And I'd just sit a lot deeper than we did against you in the cup final, and just sit back, soak it all up. And if we nick a goal, we do. If we don't have a shot, I don't even care if we get out of there with a 0-0.
But Luke,
just going back to Kenny. Sorry, I was just going to say, just going back to Kenny. Kenny, that it's more a case of what Arsenal turns up. It's really about your approach on the game, isn't it, more than anything?
It's 100%. It's not about Chelsea. Yeah, we know how Chelsea's going to play. No. We know exactly how they're going to play. They're going to look at the bigger pitch when they play Arsenal. Is that there have been times when we've been low confidence when Chelsea come at us. But I think what they're going to look to do now is they're going to watch the Stoke game. They're going to watch the Liverpool game without a shadow of a doubt. And then what they're going to do is, like, they're not going to park the bus, but what they are going to do is they're going to hit us with a counter. The honest Chelsea's view is, right, we're going to let Arsenal come at us, because what we're going to do is that we're going to get our success on the breakdown of play. So we're going to look at certain players, especially with that last third. Hit them, then go. And then, so what you're saying is that you're saying to Kante and Babiako, you go, because we feel that only you have to not follow your runs. And then, because if we go, we're going to go with that back four quickly. So they can either spread it through the middle or spread it wide. So Willian gets them across. Players will make their little runs in deep. Maybe Morata will just sort of take a few runs out, and maybe one of the midfielders can get them at our back four.
And that's exactly it, Kenny, right? Because if our wing backs push really far forward, like we did against Liverpool, that then isolates your centre backs. You're free at the back, and as soon as you've targeted Ramsey and Ozil, you're straight at Xhaka and a back three. So then you get your midfield runners going. Yeah, you bang it out to the wing to Willian. Willian then brings out one of the 3 centre backs, maybe 2, because then your Zappacosta or Moses will then overlap. You're now Xhaka and 1 centre back away from scoring a goal. you see what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what Chelsea will do.
If I've got to be honest, the goals we can see.
I'm just going to say, I've got
the guys we
100 questions to go. We're never going to do it. So I suppose, well, it's true, isn't it? Because we've got to. Because I tell you what, one of the things that that Mo pointed out to us, understand it out there, is we're going live at 9 o'clock on the Gooner Talk.
Yeah.
But also we've got this video that we're on now that's going to be configurating. Am I right in saying that, Mo?
Yeah.
And what happens is, if it's still going on during for the Gooner Talk, so we've got to give it a little gap, haven't we, between shows, like, sort of thing. I'll tell you what we'll do, guys, because it's 23 minutes past.
Yeah, Tony, as long as we have 15 minutes, that should be enough time for it to process and for me to be able to put up a thumbnail on there.
Okay, well, what we'll do then, we'll stop it at 2040, yeah, no matter what, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Right, just a quick word then. I'll go back to you. I'll go with you, actually, Lee, and then I'll come to Mo and then back to Kenny. Chelsea-Arsenal games, there's always a sending off, isn't there? There's always a red card. It tends to be us. We've had some shit refs against you lot. And I dare say you'll say the same thing.
Mike D, Lee. Mike D.
Mike
one
D,
of yours.
the closet Spurs fan.
But we've got Michael Oliver tomorrow.
God.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, actually, he's been quite kind to us, actually. He's the one that sent off Herrera against United in the Cup last game. And Evergate, Eva Canero?
Yep.
The old Hazard, Canero, Mourinho factor, who's the referee involved in that. Strong referee tomorrow, don't you think, guys? Stick with you, Lee. I mean, it's no good. It's a London derby. There's tackles going in. We don't want the yellow pulled out in the first 5 minutes, do we? We need to keep a calm head because, for me, it's ruined the games against you guys.
Well, if Victor Moses hadn't have
I'll give you that one. But you know what I'm trying to say? There's always a sending off, isn't there?
There is. But when you look at them, obviously when you're at a game, you don't see the replay until you get out the ground and check on social media, or whether you get home and watch Match of the Day. So, looking back over the last few games, I mean, the Moses one was fair enough. Yeah. To be fair, where I was sat at Wembley, I said this to you after the game. I said this to all of you. Yeah, that looked a nailed-on penalty for me. And I was like, wow, we got away with that. But then when I look back here, I was like, fair enough. See you later. The Costa on Gabriel, again, you look at it and you're thinking, oh, why has he done that? But then when you look back at it, was it a red card? Because I'm still not convinced that's a red card. So, yeah, there's been games that have been ruined because of refereeing decisions. But at the same time, there's been a lot of naughty tackles that have just gone under the radar, that have not received yellows and not received reds in these games. So,
yeah,
like you just said a minute ago, you need a strong referee. Personally, I think he's a decent referee in terms of what there is in the Premier League. Yeah, the refereeing in this country, in my opinion, as a whole, is pony. But then they'll sit there and they'll throw out that they get 95% of decisions right. So, if I was Arsene Wenger and I'm sat there doing the team talk for tomorrow's game, just as you're about to walk out, I'll be sitting there and I'll be going, do not do anything stupid. Be clever. Do not do anything stupid. Yeah. And for the first 5 or 10 minutes, do not fly into a tackle. Yeah, because you're then giving the referee a decision to make. Yeah, so the first 5-10 minutes, yes, you want to make yourself known and impose yourself on your opponent, but don't make yourself look stupid and fly into a tackle when you don't need to. I mean, Coquelin, I'm going to use him as an example. It wasn't against you, it was against Tottenham. You remember this, Kenny? He was on a yellow card, and he's gone flying into a tackle, studs off the ground. Yeah, we're 1-0 up. We're 1-0 up. We're at the lane, and he's gone flying in. Second yellow, see you later. They then went bang, bang, 2 goals, and Sanchez rescued a draw, right? But that game, if he hadn't have done that, we probably would have gone on to win. And instead, we had to scramble a draw. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'd be saying to the players. Like, don't go out there. Don't go and do anything rash or stupid. And just keep your head. Yeah, stick to the game plan if there is one with Wenger, because he don't tend to have one. He just normally has one way of playing and hopes it works. It's not 2002 anymore. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'd be doing. But the referee that's been chosen for this game, in my opinion, is the best in the league. So let's hope that he. Yeah, I think he's the best referee in the league, mate. That's not saying much because I don't rate any of them. But out of a bad bunch, he is the best. So let's hope that he gets it. And let's hope he gets what it means to both sets of fans and to both sets of players. Because other than Spurs, this is our next biggest game, in my opinion. You know, look, yeah, we've got a little rivalry with Man United from years gone by, but Arsenal-Chelsea is something special, and it's up there with Spurs. It's not as big as Spurs, although you're a bigger team than Spurs. It's not. No, they are. Let's be honest, they are. And the fact that
so we bigger than Spurs.
Exactly, but the fact that you've got Abramovich has made a lot of Arsenal fans quite bitter. Although all the Arsenal fans would love an Abramovich. So that's why it gives it a little bit of an edge. It's like, well, they've spent an absolute fortune. They've won everything in the last 12, 13 years. Yeah, we want to beat them. And it makes it extra spicy. And yeah, I just hope that there's nothing stupid. I mean, we've had Kieran Gibbs sent off for Oxlade-Chamberlain and ball. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, let's hope nothing stupid happens tomorrow. And let's hope it's a good game because I am really looking forward to it. And I'm a little bit more confident now than I was after the debacle up at Anfield. But with that being said, I still can't see us winning unless we get extremely lucky.
Will there be a meltdown, though, if you do lose? And will it go the other way where you'll all be Wenger in again if you get a result?
Time. We're not Wenger in.
They're going to make that clear to you now, isn't it?
But you're not Wenger in, but I'll tell you what, Kenny, right, one of the things after the cup final, even after the Community Shield, they were screaming. I would stick around.
The thing is, Tony, there is a lot of loyalty, which I believe is me and very misplaced about Arsenal and Wenger. And I think what's happened is that Arsenal's results are very much dependent on, the mood you're in. And I think what it is that tomorrow's result, if it goes catastrophically wrong, which merely are half expecting, then there will be a lot of meltdowns. There will be anger. The reason why we'll be angry is not because we've lost. It's because how we lose.
Right.
We know that when you go to teams like Liverpool and Chelsea, you don't have to be too open. You have to pick up your runs. And if we see the same thing tomorrow, we're going to be very angry. We're going to be angry with the manager for his game preparation, and rightly so, because he's responsible. We're going to be angry with the players because you can't keep on making these mistakes twice. We are sick and tired of going to big games and coming home after a 6-0 defeat, a 4-0 defeat, 6-3, 5-1, 6-1.
8-2.
We've had enough.
5-1 3 times in a row. Do you know what I mean?
We're sick of it. We're sick of it. And the reason why we lose these games is because we are too open. And the worst thing about the goals we can see, they're not even good goals. These are sort of goals that you see on PlayStation. We're not
that Man City away, when you played Man City away and you mentioned that was the last time, I thought you were very pragmatic that day, really resolute.
But that's about the players. That was not down to our set.
Yeah, that was down to the fact that we had Santi Cazorla, who, in my opinion, is the best midfielder we have at the club. Yeah. He was fucking fantastic that day, wasn't he, Kenny? He was fucking running it. Yeah, and he was just jinking past. And what you get with him is the fact that he's left and right footed. He can play so good on both. Yeah. So he can turn on a half-pence and spring an attack.
But the good thing about it is that, like foreign players, especially foreign players with quick feet, you can give them the ball when they're marked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they have the capability of the skill, losing their mark with a bit of skill and quick feet and a bit of pace as well. And the first thing about Sanchez as well is that we only have a plain way. So
I love you, Kenny.
We only got a sort of a plan A. Is that one of the things that Sanchez does in a way that Granit Xhaka can never do? Is that he's got quick feet. He can beat his man with pace. He can play a long pass or a short pass, both with left foot and right foot. And then he moves. He bombs forward.
Yeah.
Xhaka will pass the ball, look up, exactly bomb. He'll just sort of waddle forward. Do you know what I mean? He's a different player to Santi Cazorla. I think in a different way is that we look at him as a deep line midfielder, but we have to give him the added protection. And I just think that in terms of like the meltdown, there will be a meltdown tomorrow if we prepare the team and play as we did against Liverpool and to a certain extent Stoke, because the same mistakes twice, 3 times, 4 times. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kenny. Let's because it's now we've got about 7 minutes left. Yeah. Let's go for a score prediction then. Just to give you an idea, the bookies have got it as 3-4 on a Chelsea victory, 7-2 an Arsenal victory, and the draw is quite favourable. I suppose if you had a few quid, 3-1 the draw. So be a Chelsea win. Let's go from left to right. Mo, what's your predictions for the score prediction, please, buddy?
Honestly, I would love nothing more than a huge victory for Chelsea. And ideally, I'd like a 4-0 win. However, being really honest about the situation, I see
meltdown,
Wenger,
just to get that meltdown.
he wants AFTV and chill, mate. That's what he's after.
Mate, I just need the situation to be exactly what I've always wished it to be when it comes to Stamford Bridge and Arsenal, and it's that we give them no chance. Ideally, I'd like a clean sheet and 4 goals, but being really honest, I see a 3-1 Chelsea win. And us conceding goals, it seems to be something that we have struggled with at times. And I'll be honest, Sanchez playing and Lacazette playing, I can't see one of those players not scoring in that match. So for me, 3-1 seems like a fair result. So if I can even see Arsenal taking the lead at first, but then us stabbing them 3 times and letting them.
You're teasing me, man.
I'll be honest, it's just the only reason I say it is because I feel like Chelsea at times when we start games, we can be quite half asleep in the way we start games. But once we wake up and we can be a beast. And I think if we started like beast in the game, I can see Arsenal definitely getting trashed 4-0 at the very least. However, something tells me it's going to be quite a bit of a close game. I'll go for 3-1.
Okay. Lee, your opinions, mate, your score predictions.
Well, I'm not going for a capitulation because I'm going to give Arsene Wenger the opportunity to redeem himself from the embarrassing performance up at Anfield. I'm also going to give him the opportunity to redeem himself for leaving our £50 million striker on the bench, along with the Bosnian beast, Kolasinac. So I'm hoping that he's learned his lesson. I'm hoping that he starts both of them. I see a closer game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we capitulated. Let's just have that right. But I'm going Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1. I agree with Mo. I think we'll score first. And then I think you'll just go all guns blazing. We'll have a few chances on the break, but ultimately you'll come out the winners. And if, like we've said throughout this, if we put a shift in and we do lose 2-1 and it's close, I don't think there'll be any meltdowns. I think that people will be saying, where's that been for the last 3, 4, 5 years in a big game? So, yeah, let's hope I'm wrong. Let's hope we win, but I can't see it. 2-1 Chelsea.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Kenny, your score prediction.
Be honest, Kenny. Be honest.
I'm going to be honest. One thing I feel about Chelsea is that Conte's got a very well-drilled side where everyone knows their jobs to the extent that they're very stingy defensively. And then on the breakdown of play, you can always see Conte push them up. Remember you played Spurs at Wembley when you put men behind the ball and he kept us saying, get up to Alonso, just push Spurs back. I feel that if Chelsea plays to the best of their ability, I think they're going to be very stingy. I don't think we're going to get any change, even if we do play Lacazette and Sanchez. I think 2-0. I think we'll have a lot of the ball, but I think Chelsea would be very difficult to break down. So I think 2-0 Chelsea.
Well,
sorry, lads, but that's how I feel.
What do you reckon, Tone? What are you saying?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to make it a full house. I'm sorry, Gooners out there. I think I'm actually going to go with the same scoreline that you've gone with, Lee. I think it'll be 2-1. I think it'll be a tight game. Derby, you know, for Christ's sake, you know, and there's pride at stake. I don't think it'll be. I mean, I've read some places that I forget who it was. There's quite a famous person out there said we're just going to smash you outside. Can't see it, you know. I mean, it's Arsenal, Chelsea, you know, and it all depends. I think this game is just completely and utterly dependent on how you guys approach it. If you come in as you always do, you're in trouble. Yeah. If you it depends on your attitude, how you set up, what your desire is, how much you want to chase the ball, how much you want to match us man for man, you know, like for like. And put that endeavour in, you know. But if you're not going to do that and you're going to leave us gaps and that, we'll play for 90 minutes. We're a very, very fit side. I think we'll get our rewards. But so that's really quite strange, isn't it, guys? All four of us going for a Chelsea win.
We've been burnt out with you, Lee. We know the score.
Yeah, we know the crack.
One of the things.
I'll tell you what,
I think, Tony, one more thing. I think one of the things we're going to do away from home is I think our home form has to be spot on this season. So I do think away from home we're going to find it very, very difficult to break teams down. And I think even the teams outside the top 6, I think there is a way to play us now, especially even if we have got 3 at the back, because we are picking up the runners. And without Santi Cavola, Ozil's going to be playing too deep. And sorry to say, he ain't going to hurt the opposition from that out there. So I do think that our home form has to be strong, really strong. Lee, that's what I think anyway.
I agree, mate.
I really fear
we're going to get bantered off all season away from home, mate. Trust me.
Yeah, and that's what sides we should be beating.
Will we tomorrow? I wonder what the odds will be on this one, guys. Will we tomorrow at Stamford Bridge get all 4 sides like at Wembley? Singing "Stand Up If You Hate Tottenham."
Probably.
Most likely.
That was unusual, wasn't it? That was quite crazy, that in the cup final, wasn't it? You know,
that was mad.
Community Shield, wasn't it?
It was the Shield. It won the final. It was the Shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shield.
Really weird, that, wasn't it?
The Shield's a little bit more jovial, though, isn't it? Compared to a cup final, it's like you're focused. You want to win. Shield, it's like I don't know if you win or not.
I'm
telling you right now, but the Shield, we definitely wanted to win. I definitely wanted to win. I don't like losing to Arsenal. Any excuse for Arsenal to win, I'm not done with the case.
Well, Mo, let's be honest. Man United count it as a trophy. Even Ibrahimovic said it. So, you know, if it's good for Ibra, it's good for everyone else.
Very true. Very true.
There when it comes to Mourinho.
Right.
Mate, exactly, no, I have respect what he's done for us. I don't respect what he's doing right now. He's completely.
I know you don't want to wrap this up, right? But how anyone can disrespect Jose Mourinho that supports Chelsea? Wow.
No. The disrespect isn't towards him. Isn't towards what he's done for us. It's to do with the fact that he is spending so much time just talking about us when he should be focused on the club he's managing currently. If he did that, good luck to you, mate. Well, that second time, you can't say he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't say
that. Can I just say one thing about it, Lee? It would take us all a stream about an hour and a half long. Perhaps we'll do it, mate. Yeah, about Mourinho.
I love Jose. I love him.
No, you don't.
Well, you would. Mo, right? You would have to be a Chelsea fan, right, to completely, fully understand it. And it's a lot more deep than you think, mate. You don't pat a Man United badge on our pitch, yeah? Let's leave it at that one. But, and people are going to react in different ways, Lee, you know. But there you go. It's
when he's screwed
let him wrap the stream
so much. When he screwed up so much. He screwed up so much, and we were still behind him, still saying screw the boat, screw the players. That's how much we were behind him. For him to go do this,
mate, the man's a Chelsea legend. He's a Chelsea legend.
and then completely and utterly forget about it and say about many. Just let's forget about it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being on.
Cheers, time. Cheers, man.
It's your fault. Yeah, listen, we've got to go, guys, because otherwise this ain't going to configure. To Mo, although I'm going to see you in about 20 minutes. Thank you, Lee. Really top.
Cheers, time. Appreciate it. Cheers, lads.
Gunnerbang, guys. Check out Gunnerbang. Seriously, if you're a Chelsea fan out there,
any Chelsea fan watching this that ain't subscribed to my channel, go subscribe to it. It's Gunnerbang. I rate Chelsea, and I rate their fans. I ain't a muggy Arsenal fan like most of us, all right?
No, he's all right. I've known Lee for about 20 years.
Get some merits for that one, mate.
Ping, 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 ping. All the subscribers. Now, I expect you to do that on Gunner. When you go on your Gunnerbang, I want you to say, "Yeah, I was on Chelsea SW6." I've got to tell you that, Tony.
I'll look after you, Tony. I'll look after you. You still don't follow me back on Twitter, but we've known each other 20 years.
That's Tony, mate. I had to beg him for months.
Well, 20 years I've known.
Well, listen,
you don't even follow me.
Well, yeah, I know, but my mother for her sins, mate, is a Gunner, so I don't really hate Arsenal. I can't, but there you go. Okay, I know, innit? The rest of my family, obviously, is the Blues. Right, thank you very much to Lee Gunner. Thank you very much to Kenny Ken. I'll see you in a few minutes, mate.
Cheers, lads.
And, guys, as I say, we're going to talk 9 o'clock. We're going to go over to their channel any minute now. If you like the stream, you like the video, please press the like button. Done so already. Please share all our content about. Just to let you know, there'll be a vlog that'll be going out early Monday night, probably around about 5, 6 o'clock. And of course, Monday night we'll be back live on air, SW6 live again. We'll be reviewing the game.
Tony, one last question.
Yes.
Why don't we do it tomorrow night instead? The review.
How am I going to do that?
After the game, you just need to get back to Peterborough.
You're joking me, no?
I think that would be pretty cool.
Listen, mate, I'm at the game, mate.
Yeah, after the game. The game is at 1:30.
He had a ticket right next to me for tomorrow, didn't he? Right, I've got to go. We've got to go.
Don't bring it up. I'm upset.
Oh, is this who's bailed on you? Is this who's bailed on you?
I have not bailed. Do you think I'd be doing this with choice?
Because he works for Apple now, mate. He's swerving me. But guess what? Afsal's brother, Afsal's brother, who's a Chelsea fan, by the way. I don't know how that works in that family, but Afsal's brother. Yeah, no, he's a Chelsea fan. Afsal's brother. He's sitting next to me, so he'll be on the vlog.
Happy days.
Happy days. Peace out. Love you all loads. Hit the button, Mo. Keep the blue flag flying. I see you on Do the Talking 20s.